Hey there, Elevate 78. It's Saturday, April 4th. Here's your daily video devotional covering Exodus chapter 38. If you haven't read that chapter, go ahead and pause the video right now. Take a couple minutes to read Exodus 38, then come back and restart and we'll talk about what's in there. So in this chapter, I want to focus on the altar. Let me read what it says in verses 1 through 4. It says, "They built the altar of burnt offering on acacia wood, 3 cubits high. It was square, 5 cubits long, and 5 cubits wide." And so the altar was where they offered the burnt sacrifices out in front of the tabernacle. The tabernacle, as we said, was God's temporary home in the wilderness as they wandered. They made a horn at each of the 4 corners, so that the horns and the altar were of one piece, and they overlaid the altar with bronze. They made all of its utensils of bronze, its pots, shovels, sprinkling bowls, meat forks, and fire pans. And they made a grating for the altar, a bronze network, to be under its ledge, halfway up the altar. So I don't know if your parents have ever bought a brand new barbecue grill and brand new barbecue grill utensils, but when you get it, it's new. It's brand new. And then the first time you use it, maybe they clean the grill, but after a couple uses, it doesn't look brand new anymore. Even if you really try to get all the muck off of there once you're done, eventually your grill doesn't look new, and it's never going to look new. And what's going to happen with the tabernacle and eventually the temple is the priests are going to be outside sacrificing animals again and again and again. So the size of this thing being 3 cubits high and then 5 cubits long and 5 cubits wide. Think of when we play 9 square in the air. Okay, not as high as that, about half as high as that, and not as wide. So this is larger than your backyard grill, but it's not super large. And so to sacrifice the number of animals that they needed to, they were sacrificing continuously. So they describe this brand new bronze grate that's there, the grating that the animals would lay on, and that got pretty gross, pretty dirty from all the fat drippings and the everything of cooking the animals, the meat, everything like that. And it was never going to be brand new again because they were making regular sacrifices for their sin. And they sinned a lot, and you and I sin a lot. It's like when we're born, we're innocent. We are without sin. And then at some age, sin creeps into our lives. And from there's no turning back. In our kitchen, we recently got the wall repainted. And I'm not kidding you, the day that they finished repainting, my young son took a black pen and while we weren't watching, he scribbled all over the wall. And when we saw it, we went, "No!" And we took some dishwashing detergent and we tried to, scrape it off and clean it the best we could. But the truth is, there was no way to make it brand new again. The only way to make it brand new would be to completely repaint that spot. The only way to make a grill new, once there's the burn on the grill, is to buy a brand new grill. And now listen to what the book of Psalms says about you and me. It says, "When I kept silent about my sin, it was like my body was wasting away. Day and night, God's hand was heavy on me and my strength was sapped. And then I acknowledged my sin to you, God, and I did not cover up my guilt. I said, I'll confess my sin to the Lord, and you, God, forgave the guilt of my sin." So what happens is the priests offer these sacrifices day after day after day. But then the book of Romans in chapter 8, verse 3 says, "What the law was powerless to do, because it was weakened by our flesh," we just continue to sin, "God did by sending his own son in the likeness of sinful flesh to be a sin offering." Wow. So it was a lot of work to sacrifice all these animals continuously. And then Jesus comes along and he does this work for you and I by sacrificing himself. God did this work through Jesus for you. I think that's especially relevant because next week we head into Easter week. Tomorrow is what's known as Palm Sunday, but the next Sunday is Easter Sunday. So the readings for next week will track with that last week of Jesus' life. And I hope you'll be with us. There's no better time to be in the Bible than during the week of Easter. So join us every day right here. We'll talk about what it means. Take care.